Welcome. In this video, we are going to review how to configure Cyfin to receive syslog output from your firewall or network gateway. In Cyfin, go to Data Management, Log Data Source Setup. On this screen, we'll see three different ways to input data into the Cyfin product. In this tutorial, we are going to focus on the syslog configuration. On this screen, you'll see your syslog configuration options. These settings need to match what is configured on your firewall. Is your firewall transferring syslog data via TCP or UDP, and what is the defined destination port? For this tutorial, we're going to define our syslog protocol as UDP, and we're going to use port 514. This is a very important note. To complete the configuration, we're going to need the firewall to be sending data to the Cyfin product. Now that we have verified that the firewall is sending syslog packets to the Cyfin product, let's now click the test button to continue. Here we could see the port was opened successfully, and we have an indication we're receiving messages, and we're seeing the message counter increment. At this point, we probably have received enough messages for the product to analyze your syslog data. So let's click stop. Now we're going to click the next button. After we click next, Cyfin will automatically analyze the syslog data sent over from the firewall, and it will actively try and match your data to one of our many defined log parsers. So we could see here that data is starting to be analyzed and run through known parsers. If you already know the type of firewall you're using, you can click stop and exit out of the automatic analysis. If you're not sure, you can let it complete, and it'll give you choices of log file parsers. In this tutorial, we use Palo Alto firewall log data, and as you could see in the pull down, Cyfin automatically detected the data was coming from the Palo Alto firewall. So let's select the Palo Alto firewall parser, and we have two here. The first parser uses the categories provided by Wavecrest Computing. The second parser uses the categories provided in the Palo Alto log data. So let's select the first parser, and we could see in our data preview window that all the fields are lining up. We have date, URL, user, and IP, bytes, and result code, and we see everything's in the proper field. Now that we have verified we have the correct parser selected, let's click the next button. On this screen, we configure where we want to store the raw log files. Currently, the default path is within the Cyfin product. You could choose to store these raw log files on a network drive. Just a note on this screen, it's something that has to be accounted for from going from evaluation or proof of concept to production, that we need to figure out the disk storage, and each customer is different. One is how large are your logs on a daily basis, and how long are you required to keep those log files accessible. So during the evaluation and proof of concept period, product out of the box deletes the raw logs after 2 days, so we don't fill the disk up. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll leave the default path, and now we'll click next. Now we need to provide a name for this configuration, and I'm going to call it Palo Alto Firewall, and then we'll click next. The configuration has been saved, and we're going to create this configuration now. And we could see back on the start of the configuration wizard, we now have our Palo Alto firewall configuration. It's possible with Cyfin to add multiple syslog configurations from the same type of firewall or from different firewalls or gateways. And it could be syslog, log file, or database configurations, all established concurrently. Let's say you opted out of the automatic detect process and you wanted to manually select the log file parser. This is what the selection list would look like, and as you can see, we have an extensive list of pre-built log parsers. Let's discuss the scenario where Cyfin did not automatically detect the log data and match it with a parser, or there wasn't a matching log file type in the pull-down selection. Let's go to Help, and then under Help, under the Support section, let's select Log File Configuration. This screen was designed to help us troubleshoot any syslog issues or any issues with detecting the log data. This screen works the same as the one we just used in the syslog configuration settings. And like earlier, we're using UDP protocol and port 514. This screen has the same requirement as we did in the syslog configuration. The firewall has to actively be sending syslog data to Cyfin before we run this test. So let's go ahead and click the test button. And we could see here we're successfully receiving information from the firewall. And let's go ahead and hit stop. We could see the raw records coming in via the syslog. And this information is critical for our support team to assist you, and also for our development team to possibly add a new parser for your device. And it's a pretty quick turnaround for us to add a new parser if required. And sometimes we might need a new parser even for an existing device if the vendor happened to perform a firmware upgrade and they made changes to the syslog output that would require an adjustment in our parser. But this is a very quick turnaround. In this case here, we're using Palo Alto version 6. And we'll put Bob Smith as the customer. And once you have this contact information filled in and you click upload, it will upload the sample data securely to our server in the cloud. At that point, our support team will be notified and have access to this file to review. And if needed, it will be forwarded to development to update the parser, and they'll be in contact with you shortly. In the majority of cases, the automatic log file detection wizard should find a parser and match it with your log data. But in the situations where that doesn't happen, you could see we have a quick process to identify your log data and provide you with a parser and get you up and running. So please don't hesitate to contact our highly experienced and friendly support team. Thank you.